Speaker Bass and I are here today to proudly announce that we expect the mortgage bill that we've been working on for 2 years will be moved through the Senate today and then onto the governor's desk, and we're hopeful that the governor will sign it. There's been a lot of activity, and there are a lot of people in the room and people who are standing behind us who helped make this bill possible. When we first started out, which was really at the nose end of the mortgage crisis, there was a lot of dispute and disagreement, but we finally came up with what I consider to be the essential elements of a bill, and doing as much as the state can do. We recognize that the federal government has preempted a lot of the field, and as they normally do, they preempt it and they don't do anything about it. But we believe that we are able to do something about it. This bill, we believe, does it. One is basic idea is before somebody starts a foreclosure proceeding, you ought to have an opportunity to talk to somebody. That was largely not the case with thousands of people that we talked to who lost their homes, were put into foreclosure, and never were able to talk to a human being. They couldn't even find one to talk to. So we originally wanted to make this a face-to-face, but the practicalities are that at least you have an opportunity to have a conversation, and that the direction would be to try to come up with a workout plan, not simply, hi, how are you, you're foreclosed, bye. So that was the nature of that. The second one is you got a lot of people who are tenants in foreclosed properties. They're innocent bystanders. We wanted them to have more time to adjust because many of them were watching a moving van pull up in front of their homes and wondering what was going on, or notices tacked on their door. So this doubles the period of time that they have to relocate before any eviction notice is served. And finally, we wanted to put some incentive in to allow cities and counties, communities generally, to have some way of enforcing a code of conduct upon properties held by a bank or by somebody, a consortium, and they let the properties run down. It's not uncommon, particularly in my district, to see plywood being put up in the front of these places, one of those little erect fence things thrown around around them, and then they become an eyesore. I was talking to somebody who works here at the Capitol who said that on his block there are 7 foreclosed homes in the Sacramento area, and that now and at various stage of ill repair. So this would give some enforcement mechanism to the local governments so that they can make the properties maintained and decent. Again, if somebody's living there, it's not their fault that the next 3 down there are in foreclosure. So those are basically the elements of the bill. There are people here whose lives are affected that can testify to whether or not it matters. If you haven't been foreclosed upon, if you're not facing an eviction, then you probably don't have as much as I've not yet. I realize we're not getting paid now, so I may be here with a red shirt on before you know it. But we have people whose lives have been affected, and they can answer specifically the questions. Karen?
Great. Good morning, everyone. I am happy to join Senator Perata here today as members of the Assembly as well as the Senate are joining together to address the foreclosure crisis that are affecting all of our districts. California efforts to protect homeowners, communities, and even the state budget from the damage caused by the foreclosure crisis also have to peak this summer. Unnecessary delays or deference to the hope of federal action is not enough. The legislature has taken a good first step this week by passing Senator Perata's SB 1137, which I'm proud to be a principal co-author. The bill provides real-world relief, as Senator Perata described. I'm also proud that the Assembly Democrats are joining together along with the Senate in developing an effective package of bills that we will be sent to the governor before we adjourn in August. Too many people were asleep at the switch or looking the other way as the subprime lending crisis unfolded, and we certainly want to do whatever we can to address this crisis. Senator Perata and I are here today to make it clear that the job of our houses is to come together to help more Californians keep their houses. I am also proud to stand with ACORN and many of the community organizations that I've worked with for many years before joining the legislature in addressing this crisis, organizations that have been working on a grassroots level for many, many years, who actually were involved in this at its beginning stages, trying to prevent the crisis from occurring that we've all experienced over the last few years. So again, I think this is a very significant step, the legislature coming together to address this crisis, and expect to see many more pieces of legislation in the next month to come forward to take a more comprehensive view of this crisis we're in. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is John Crenshaw. I am a member of ACORN. ACORN, SB 1137 will do a lot to help me and other borrowers get immediate relief from the devastating foreclosure crisis. I have been a homeowner in Sacramento for 15 years. Today I am in foreclosure. About 5 years ago, my wife Norma had major surgery. Shortly after her operation, medical bills began flooding in. Our health insurance policy didn't cover all the expenses for our operation, and the bill collectors were calling me 24/7. To make matters worse, within a month of that, I had a major stroke. While I was still in rehabilitation, a mortgage broker came to me and said that he could help me with my current financial problems and my future debt that I was sure to incur as a result of my stroke. The broker kept telling me that the equity in my home could help me with my debt. The broker said that I could get a loan on my house and use the cash to pay my bills. He told me it was an adjustable mortgage, which alarmed me, but he promised me that I would pay my bills for a few years, clean up my credit by using the cash that they had given me, and refinance before an adjustment took place. He lied to me. I was sitting there rehabilitating from a stroke and trusted that he was looking out for my best interests. He took advantage of my age, my physical condition, and the equity I had acquired in my home. Since then, I lost my job because the company went out of business, and my payments have exploded. I tried to refinance, and my broker was nowhere to be found. I couldn't find anyone to help me figure out what to do, and now I stand here heading for default. This bill will require my lender to communicate with me prior to entering me into a default situation. I have had a hard time trying to work with my servicer. This bill will facilitate a meeting with me and the bank so that we could possibly look into loan restructuring options with a HUD-certified counselor representing my interests. This is a good step in the right direction to help families that so desperately want to save their homes. Last December, while attending a community forum organized by California ACORN, Senate President Pro Tem Don Perata committed to address the loss of homes, tenant right violations, and the deterioration of our neighborhoods. He has followed through with this commitment. And SB 1137 addresses many of our concerns. We do believe, however, that there is much more work to do. Good bills, ones which received bipartisan support, passed out the Assembly and were shot down in committee in the Senate just last week. This will perpetuate the abuses practiced in our state that's come from the lack of regulation of the industry in our state. With that said, families are counting on the Senate to restore the Assembly package as it was installed. It has been stalled now, and we know that our Senate and our houses working together can resolve this issue. One final note. We do believe that SB 1137 is a step in the right direction, and commend Senator Perata for listening to the community concerns and taking action. Senator Peralta's bill goes further than federal law to provide needed relief to suffering California families, and we are grateful and would like to see your continued leadership on this very important issue. Lastly, We ask that the governor sign this bill immediately to protect California families. Thank you.
Next, don't have to follow that yet. Make him follow.
Well, my name is Paul Leonard, and I am the California Director of the Center for Responsible Lending. It's hard to follow such a moving and compelling speaker. I wanted to congratulate the legislators, Senator Perata, Assemblywoman Bass, and all of the bipartisan members of the legislature who have voted to put SB 1137 onto the governor's desk, and we too would hope that he would sign it very quickly. The governor put out numbers today indicating the severity of the problem and the need to have some change in order to prevent the record levels of foreclosures that are occurring. The data that the Department of Corporations put out today indicated that we are on pace to get 150,000 foreclosures here in California in the next 12 months. And we hope that this legislation will really put a brake on those record levels of numbers, and hope that the members of the mortgage finance and servicing industry will implement this bill as soon as possible. This is a model bill, one that provisions that other states have taken up to try and help current borrowers who are facing the risk of foreclosure, to make sure that they understand their options. And we think this is a huge and very important step forward. However, it is, as my colleagues have said, only one part of the solution. The other part of the solution is a strong predatory lending reform package, and that is still a fate whose outcome is uncertain at this point in time. We hope that the Assembly and the Senate will work together, along with our friends in the mortgage finance industry, to ensure that a strong predatory lending bill can complement and put these two pieces of the package together, much like the state of New York did in announcing their recent legislative package. Again, we commend the Senator for his leadership on this issue and look forward to working with the leadership of both houses to see a strong bill going forward. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Angie Way, W-E-I, and I am the Legislative Director for the California Labor Federation. Times are tough for working families. Unemployment rates are up. Gas prices are up, food prices are up, housing prices continue to be high in California. There's no relief in sight. And for our members and working families, we're getting hit from every direction. Just last week, I got 3 calls from laid-off workers, 2 of whom were facing family foreclosures. They needed extended unemployment benefits. For our members, home ownership is still the cornerstone of the American dream. And for our families, it's often the only asset we can pass on to our children. We face the risk of slipping down the cliff of the foreclosure freefall, and this bill creates posts that hopefully we can grab onto and save our fall. We thank the legislative leadership for introducing this bill. As organized labor, we're proud to be part of an effort in which this is what we're here to do. We're supposed to take daily problems facing everyday Californians, meet with industry to come up with global solutions that can create immediate relief. This is the type of post-partisanship that organized labor is proud to be a part of. It's in the best interest for everybody, the banks, the industry, for families to stay in our homes. It's in the best interest for our statewide economy, and that's why this bill, we hope, improves the lives of working families and helps provide some stability in the marketplace. We will continue to work to set good standards going forward so that this foreclosure crisis cannot happen again. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Susan DeMars. I'm with the California Mortgage Bankers Association, and I'd like to say that this is a great example of a piece of legislation that came from a collaborative effort between the leadership in the legislature, community groups, and the mortgage industry, and we're proud of the work that we've done on this bill to help California consumers. Certainly a solution that will provide some immediate relief to consumers today and certainly those in the future as well. So thank you, Senator Perata, for working with us on this important legislation.